Technology allows us to enjoy the pleasures of life, but at what expense to the environment? Deforestation and pollution are causing us to destroy the environment at alarming rates. Our population is growing at an exponential rate, and we are outgrowing this planet. We support the argument that the world is full because this idea comes from actual scientific evidence. Our first claim is that Mr. Gildings begins by stating that our economy is bigger than our host, the planet, and we agree with this. The proof is, studies by David Pintrell and Michael Burgess have shown that the population in the United States uses 3 times the amount of energy than what is fixed actually through photosynthetic production of all the planet life currently growing in the country. This is yet another study that supports the fact that we're consuming 50% more energy and resources than we can actually support over time.
The opposing view of this is that Mr. Diamandis claims that we have nothing to worry about with respect to energy consumption according to Moore's law. He has presented this information in a way that would have you believe it is a fundamental law of nature or physics, such as the law of thermodynamics. This law states that technology production doubles every year, therefore increases exponentially, and will always continue this trend. However, the name is somewhat misleading as Moore's law is more correctly described as an observation. It has only acquired this new name over the last 20 years because it is an idea the semiconductor industry uses to set targets for research, development, and marketing. Also, this so-called law ensures that electronic devices will continue to double in production every year and companies will gain huge profits. What it does not address or guarantee is that the energy and resources needed to produce it will double as well. In reality, the materials needed to produce these things consist of fossil fuels, petroleum products, and toxic metals, including 22% of the mercury mined annually. It is a process that consumes massive amount of energy and expels a huge amount of toxic pollution.
Our second claim is that our population is growing at an exponential rate all over the world. This is a fact. According to the ecological-based population models and the Lotka-Volterra model, exponential growth continues indefinitely until there are no more resources. It is only once that there is nothing left that the population growth rate slows or stops and numbers begin to decline. With no natural resources available, we will not be able to sustain life as we know it because of the laws of thermodynamics, which is a real scientifically proven law. According to these laws, energy cannot be created from nothing, only transferred, and no transfer is 100% efficient. These fundamental laws support the idea that it is us as a society that needs to adjust our behavior and methods of production because there is only so much that we can take from the planet before there's nothing left for us to use. Research by Luca Salvati, published in 2012, demonstrates how unsustainable practices produce complex and unpredictable interactions over time and space. This experiment clearly demonstrates that sustainability is directly linked to the dynamic balance a multiple of inputs and outputs into the biochemical elements cycles of our fragile planet.
The opposing view of Mr. Diamandis claims that when there are more people and all our present resources have been exhausted, there will be no need for concerns as there will be more mines to help us gain access to the non-renewable resources that we do not currently have technology to access. Unfortunately, it has been proven that this trend will continue until there is nothing left. The fact is, there is a limited amount of land and food to house, educate, and feed these people. As it stands, undeveloped regions in countries like Africa contribute less than 2% of the global output of science, technology, and innovation productivity. The education level is extremely low, being approximately 10% of the population in 4 countries. They cannot provide the funding needed to build, maintain, employ, and provide sustained funding to develop educational facilities that will deplete the land further of resources. New research in agricultural practices has reduced the number of poor in Africa by 2.3 million, but even this has come with a significant cost. Currently, the cost of dealing with land degradation is $730 million per year.
Our third claim. During his talk, Mr. Gilding makes a seemingly overdramatic statement that there will be a worldwide collapse of societies and life as we know it will end. This idea is not as far-fetched as it sounds. This total collapse has been a reality for many societies throughout time. One of the most famous examples would be the society of Easter Island, where a population came, developed, overdeveloped, and depleted all their natural resources to leave behind nothing but a barren, unproductive, inhabitable landscape. Our proof. More recent evidence of this has been documented in the research of Elaine Lawson on the changes of rural communities affected by mining in Ghana. The predicted outcomes from the transformation of mining practices were never realized. It has not resulted in increased employment as promised to the rural people. It has compromised the social sustainability of the people and has done nothing to lessen the vulnerability of poor communities. It has consumed the people's land and has negatively affected their livelihood. Land compensation payments have significantly worsened poverty and given rise to social conflicts.
Our opposing view for this is that this repeated trend throughout history and in current societies is evidence that somewhat discredits Mr. Diamandis' notion that all new people exposed to developments and fancy technology will be happy, contributing members of the population that will receive nothing but benefits from technology the way he predicts. This brings us to the end of our presentation, but before we go, we want to ask you one question. What does the world mean to you? If it means having a fulfilled life of fun, happiness, love, and enjoying the pleasure of life, why wait until it is destroyed to start acting? Why not act now?
Thank you.
Thank you.